Hi, Sportster Paul here. We're going to look at VisualMill doing fixtures. I had a lot of problem with VisualMill in the earlier episodes with stability and things changing in dialog boxes from zeros to ones and all these problems. I fixed that, and I'm not sure which of the two or how much. First, I upgraded to Windows 10, and it really is an upgrade. It's not as bad as everybody tells you. And then the big thing was in my HP ZBook 15, right, this CAD laptop I've got, I disabled, I think it's called some kind of hybrid graphics, so that the boot screen shows up on other monitors. That got me halfway there. Then I figured I could disable this hybrid graphics completely, and then now the NVIDIA card does all four monitors. I've got a 4-monitor setup here. So now VisualMill is much more stable, and it does not change and stuff. But when I did a big part, that test part that we were doing in the earlier episodes, by the time I got to the end, SolidWorks was complaining, resource, and crashed. So I'm still not thrilled with the stability. And a big thing for me, the problem is this demo program you can't save. So if I could save and then it crashes, once it starts warning you, you do a save, it crashes, and you could come back up, and whatever memory leak made it crash is now back to the beginning, I'd be more enthusiastic. Let's go up to SolidWorks. And here's the assembly I built. So it's got, this is a part from this engine I want to work on. Two of the clamps here, I call them, this is the way it's going to be in the machine. So I call these two clamps the north-south clamps. I call these two the east-west clamps. The north-south clamps sit a little higher because they're accommodating the stock. The east-west clamps are right down on the part. And the theory is the east-west clamps are gone. You have the north-south ones do the machining, then switch to the east-west, and then finish what was under these two clamps. If you want to see that working the way it should really be, look at the SolidCAM fixtures show that I did, where you can tell it how far to avoid the fixture, so you can give it clearance, so you can be a little sloppy when you position it. And the second operation, you can say, oh, this is a rest machining operation. And unlike Bobcat that complained, well, the tool has got to be smaller if this is a rest, it's like, yeah, same size tool, just go and clean up the little bit, very efficient. So that's what all these companies should look at. Go look at SolidCAM and see how fixtures should work. So here we are. I have learned about configurations. Here's all clamps, clamps east-west, double-clicking, clamps north-south. No clamps. So what are we going to do? I guess we'll start with north-south, and you'll see the problem here. Now, as far as the user interface, I love VisualMill. It was the most intuitive, oh, here, work 0. One little trick is if you close it in a little, all this stuff disappears. So if you have the tab with the panel with the way I like it, you'll miss all this stuff. And it's just coincidence. I learned, oh no, get it a little wider. What do? You click, I think, double-click machining job. Does something come up? It's thinking. No, I guess it doesn't care about that. So machine 3-axis, that's where you click. And this is where you identify. I'm going to be pulling these because I got this 4-screen monitor. It's smart enough to open all the dialogues off screen, off this main screen that I'm recording. So there's nothing wrong about this. This is where you can set the coordinate system of the way the part is sitting in, or the stock initially. Because of this was an assembly that I built. Look at this. You can use SolidWorks while the dialogue's up. You got to love that. It's already set up, right? With Z being up, positive X being to the right. If I had a fixed jaw, it would be in the back, right? This is the orientation. I'm sitting out here looking at it. So that's all okay. So I just said okay. The post-processor, Mach 3, because I've got this Avid Benchtop Pro, and it's actually got Mach 4, but Mach 3 would be close enough. Parts, because it's an assembly, it's asking for what parts. You double click on that, select the part. Well, that's what we want to machine. That was important in SolidCAM too. I got it confused because I accidentally had a clamp as a target, right? I got to use fancy programmer words. We're done with that. Stock. I did a right click, right? Box stock. It gets confused in the weirdest way. Control, yeah, that's pan. I think I had it like this, and you say, copy the bounding box, and it gives you this all this extra stuff. And where it's getting that, I have no idea. If it works the way it did in practice runs, if I do this, now it acts right. I don't think there's any wireframe anywhere, but it's confused. So while we're here, it has dimensions. Let's do 5.2 and 5.2. Sometimes these don't take, and 0.4. They don't take until you actually touch something like that. And now, but they're offset, right? It's decided to put that down here. There is, where is it? Align. There is this align, but the problem is you can align it, but then it'll be wrong in Z. And then when you go back here to try to fix that Z with these offsets, then it goes back to this view anyway. And I was able once, when I had this thing real confused in Windows 7, I could save it after doing this. No, I could do, how did that work? Do align, close it, reopen it, and then this would work. I'm just going to suffer a little offsets. Let's do here, there. I'd say about 125 is our golden number here. Oops, wrong way, huh? Let's just leave that. And then Z, I want to be up just because we're going to face, right? It doesn't have to touch that. It's already up. So 0.4 gets it pretty close, right? That's not unreasonable. None of this is reasonable, right? I'm not saying this is the right way to make the part. I'm saying this is a way to show you how this program works. So you're happy. Let's see, you say OK. The origin's the way you want it. Fixtures. So this is their theory. You double click, select the solid features for the fixtures. This, and that. And you say, OK. And SolidWorks just crashed. Sorry, we'll be back in a little bit. All right, we're back. Here's the dialog box I should have seen. You selected all of those fixture things. And I like to name it fixture 1, make it a little more descriptive. North-south. That's the way the clamps are going to be. Say save. And there it appears under the fixtures. And then you can do the same with the east-west using the configurations over here, right? Not a problem. Setup 1. Now this is, it also, SolidCAM, it tricked me up. That doesn't do anything, right? It's just creating the fixture. Putting the fixture in the setup. Fixtures belong to a setup. So let's do the setup, name it north-south, and double click on it. That's a Bill Gates problem, I guess. The coordinate system is kind of correct. Yep. And then what I was screwing up, select fixtures for setup. That's over here. You just go here and you say generate. And so now it's kind of smart, apparently. Then one of the things I like, they speak more machinist language than computer programmer, mathematician language, work 0. Hey, I know what that is. You know, I drank beer with a lot of machinists. And then unlike a lot of programs, including my beloved SolidCAM, you say set to stock box. SolidCAM, you got to go in and out and back and forth and change the coordinate just to get the stock. It won't let you do the stock first. So here, because it lets you define the stock and then do the work 0, and it just happened because our orientation is correct, it put it on this corner. That's all these buttons, right? Which corner it goes on. And it put it at the top, the highest Z. And that's exactly where I'd find that corner with edge finders. Say generate. There we go. Now we have a work 0. So unlike SolidCAM, this program lets fixture avoidance in a facing operation. And maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should try to do a pocket. And there's workarounds for all this, right? It's not the end of the world. Let's go. Oh no, this is an easy to use program. You can keep this highlighted and say 2-axis facing. Dialog box, because of my multiple monitors, shows up here. Maybe where should we put it? Here? You like seeing the part like me? You don't select anything because you want it to go to the corners of the stock. You don't just want to do exactly over the part like a pocket would show up. And the way to, you check this box, include stock model silhouette. MasterCAM and the others, you don't even have to say that. It knows. If you didn't bother to tell me anything, fine. Tool, I can never get the tool figured out. I mean, all these programs, I have so much trouble trying to figure out, I guess a 2 flute. And does it let me do length? No. Edit, create. See, that's a ball mill. Right? See that? Why do they do this to me? I have just no idea why people would do this to one another. So let's just go from scratch. Like I say, I always get confused in these flute lengths, tool lengths. I do want it 4 inches long because otherwise it's going to crash into those bolts. I know that's ridiculous, and I know it won't work. 2.5, 2.5, good. It certainly doesn't need flutes that long. So let's do something silly like this, right? Bear with me, I know it's silly, and it still doesn't fix the collision problem. That's another problem I had with this. So I guess you save edits to tool. You know, what are you doing here? See number of flutes. It's wrong again. Edit, create tool. Did it change the flute number? I don't know. Save edits to tool. Okay, what tool am I changing? The tool that belongs or the tool in this operation? Okay, 2 flutes. It doesn't tell you, you know, the length and all the things you set. Tool name, I didn't change the name of the tool. I don't know why I get so turned around. It shouldn't be that hard to say, there it is, I want it. And there's a completely separate operation creating a tool. It's something you can do, you know, on Mars. Material carbide, yeah, here it is. Gosh almighty, I just get so frustrated. Sorry about this. This is a little pathetic, but I had problems in Bobcat's tools. I'll spend I'll get a computer science degree. I guess save edits, because I had all these problems. You know, if you say okay, sometimes it doesn't do anything. And that's why I'm getting turned around. Why are there 5 choices to get out of this box? Do what I asked. Do my work, not my thinking. Now, okay, so now, and this is the other thing, why I like the overall architecture of the user interface. This is these multiple tabs. That's a Microsoft thing. I despise it because when you go here, then it flips the 2 rows and, oh, where am I? Right? Because it wants the tab to be right above. And so it moves all the other tabs down. So you can never know. All right. So that's right. The tool, 1/4 inch, blah, 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 carbide. Yes. Feeds and speeds. We're just going to, we're not anywhere near worrying about feeds and speeds. Advanced cut. No, I don't think you got to worry. This, you don't got to worry. Cut levels, I think it's smart enough to know, right? It knows where the stock is. It knows, we'll find out. Roughing, it always does not enough accuracy, and it always wants to leave stock everywhere. And I think, oh, this is where, this is where I may be able to fix what I thought was an insoluble problem. Let's leave a 1/4 inch of stock, and maybe it'll avoid these fixtures. I want to climb only. That step over is fine. Now I'll say generate down here. We'll see hopefully see the toolpaths. They're tiny toolpaths and a lot of step overs, so it's got to think a while. And it seems when it does this kind of fixture avoidance thing, it's got to think harder. This is great news because now I don't have to show you a bunch of other stuff about trying to use avoid regions. It doesn't really work right. There we go. Oh, it worked. That one little thing. See, I practiced for hours and never figured out this is how I could back it off, right? Because what it was doing to me in practice runs was running right up to the tool, and it'll never succeed, right? You'll never position that tool close enough. So we're happy here, right? That's looking good. This doesn't save. The demo program you can't save, which I despise. You know, like when it crashes. I had to start all over from scratch while you weren't watching. So what are we going to do now? We're going to simulate. Just go to this tab. Since we've got this, just say, I think play. There it is, doing its thing. Kind of a funky thing because it's avoiding, but it's a facing operation, right? So that's wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy. Perfect, right? Oh, so we can make more progress than I thought today. How are we doing? 7 minutes. Oh, good. So let's, change this to face north dash south. Okay, setup notice. Now, where do you do it? Here, new setup. It's asking, define setup orientation. I think, did it change it? No, that's correct, because this is the way it's going to, I use this hole to remind me which way it is. This is the way it is in the vise. And we say, I don't think we have to do anything, right? Because this isn't work 0, this is setup. That's one of the reasons I like it. And then for work 0, just set the stock box, which I should show you when I'm doing stuff. Set the stock box, it moved it up to that corner, so it's identical, right? Because you're not going to re-zero anything. Even though that stock is gone, you've decked it, and that point is unfindable. That might be a concern if you break a tool. Generate. Okay, and then back in fixtures, let's go back to SolidWorks. Now we want clamps east-west. Then go back to here, rename this setup. I'm real big on typing. I'm a professional writer, so you can tell I like keeping track of stuff. Fixtures. I think you have to do it here. You have to double click. Now it wants the new fixtures here, here, oops, here, and here. And you say OK. And now you've got those fixtures, so you can, oh, what's going on? Oh, it's asking for the name. I didn't notice that box. East-west. Please don't crash on us. We had enough. Serious, please save file and exit. It obviously doesn't like this, which means I'm going to turn all this off. Is it dying on me? Maybe that was just an internal crash on the VisualMill. Let's keep going. Okay, now double click. Oh gosh, it always tries to rename. Double click there. Go here. Select fixtures. Oh, it didn't. Oh, that's what it crashed out of. Okay, go here, right click, new fixture, do it this way. Here. See, I leave all this stuff in, unlike the salesman showing you demos. Okay, fixture, east. See all that's hover help they give you? East, west. Please don't crash. Save. Oh, it took it. So now it's there, so now you can double click here. Drag this on, and here in fixtures, you say east-west. See, that's why I name it, because they do it alphabetic. Maybe you get confused. And say generate. So now it knows about those fixtures, and it won't bang in. Now here's what I couldn't do, rest machining. Maybe there's some way. Maybe there's a way. Obviously, you could always go into SolidWorks, draw sketches, and say, okay, just finish these two little areas up, right? So that wouldn't be the end of the world. But 2-axis facing. Let me get here. One beautiful thing about VisualMill, it leaves the last tool in. Unlike SolidCAM, where you're always, no, reselect. It's only a couple clicks, but God, don't you know how human beings work? We're going to do that same thing. We want it accurate, which is probably silly, but maybe for the floor, that might, they never say the tolerance or what. Here, and we did 2.5 avoidance. Island, oh, we want climb. See, and this was the headache. Corner cleanup, I don't know what that means. Can you? No, there's no help for that. So let's do generate. No regions. Do you want to use, oh, see, I didn't check that little box. And it's smart enough. Why do they make you check the box? Yeah, did you mean to check the little box in geometry? Yes, I did. So it does it for you. Now it's doing its thinking, and hopefully it won't crash. And we should see it avoiding these clamps. Now, one nice thing in the SolidCAM, which far and away is, to me, the best balance, right, so far. But I haven't tried HSMWorks. That's next week. So we'll stay tuned for that. And it's way off in space. I guess it doesn't know where it's at. Face, east, but it did avoid. So it's doing the right thing, right? This kind of stuff is never too hard to figure out. And double click on this. Here it comes. Usually it's cut levels. Cut geometry, is it bottom? Pick top. See, this is what I love, and many of them do that. So now it's smart enough to know. And let's try generate again, see if it moves it down where it's supposed to be. But see, it's doing the whole part over again, and most of this is already cut, right? Well, why are you doing that to me? It's thinking. See how it disappeared some stuff? Just when I thought we could make tremendous progress, now that I figured out how to give a clearance to the clamps. And that's right. Okay? Now, see, I wish I could save it. My instincts are save it, but it won't save because it's a demo program. Whereas BobCAD, well, you can save it and use it again, but it only works in the demo program. I really wish VisualMill would do the same kind of thing. I think MasterCAM works the same way. What are we going to try? Something semi-tricky. Say face here. Get the operation. In our, where was it, roughing, we said, let's try an inch and see what happens. Generate. In other words, the more clearance we put around the clamps that don't need machining, the less machining there is. and I also had problems with clearance where it was bombing through the, we'll do simulations now. See, that's pretty good. So let's try it again. Let's try. Like, what happens 3 inches? They would touch about here. Let's try it. But this is Mickey Mouse, right? Just being able to say, no, this is a rest operation, rest RE, remaining, ST stock, remaining stock operation. Where were we? Roughing, I'm having a blast. Now do 2 inches around, generate. So, like I say, obviously you could do sketches and screw around and try to limit this and just say, no, just throw those areas. Before I could figure out using that offset, that might actually work. Oh my gosh, we kind of cheated our way through this. See, I want to save and I can't. Sorry, folks. So now, go over here. And I also had problems. Okay, so that's the correct stock condition. So you go here, see, and I had all kinds of problems getting it to show the stock the way it's supposed to. There it is. So we missed it. Well, maybe not, because that's the center of the tool. Oh, it's up. It's a part. I picked the wrong thing. Okay. This is why, see, I love this kind of simulator. And you can do compare. See, I got a problem. See that blue? This blue you expect. All this green means it's dead on within a thousandth, right? Look at all this. You only get this expert and above. So you got to pay at least $2,500. It doesn't come in the $700 or the $1,500 to get the compare function. The simulator is in all of them. But this little button, you got to spend at least $2,500. I'm using the demo program in professional. And then above that is premium, which is multiple 5-axis, all kinds of crazy stuff I don't need. So what are we thinking about? I always go to rename, double click, get our thing, roughing cut levels, pick top. Oh, that's what I did. I clicked that and touched it. That doesn't do it. You got to hit the little arrow. And now go, pick any point. See, 75 thousandths down. Okay, generate. See, I put all these screw ups in. I hope it doesn't exasperate you folks. So that you can kind of, oh yeah, those are the kind of screw ups, Sportster Paul had. I'll have them too. So now it does simulate better. I do like that. So let's go here into simulate. See, it's showing the stock condition because I had trouble in practice. See, the stock goes away. Let's do play. Oh, okay, that reappeared. So it does leave a tiny little island right there. It's smart enough. I think I set it in practice to put a clearance of 5 because it was clanging into these bolts. But I am not sure. Go here. Go real slow, play. There's all kinds of problems too where it'll dogleg or not dogleg, where you go to a tool change and come back. And if you're not sure, it might come at an angle and clang those bolts anyway. You want your hand on the, and because we're not showing, we're showing the wrong set of clamps. That's why it's bombing through these clamps. But the interesting thing is, unlike when I was practicing this, it's not putting a little red star in front of these like when it has a collision. Although I learned, be careful about to end. Sometimes it'll go to the end and it won't tell you there's a collision. Although I did think that little red star appears here to tell you. So, happy days. Other than the clumsiness of, well, geez, I wish, we can do the next one now. Play. And the way it plunges down on that, I wish it wouldn't do that. But, that's not the end of the world. So there's more functionality. This isn't as broke as I feared when I was practicing this afternoon. And there may be a way to say, I can't find anything it would be in this operation. We got 18 minutes in, so we can make a quicker show. Is there anything that says rest, island, offset, cuts, linear, corner, clear up? I don't see anything that says rest machining. Advanced cut, smooth cut, no. Won't be levels, won't be entry, exit. And that might just be a pocket would do rest machining. I'll play with that on my own. And if it is, I'll come back and show you real quick how you can rest machine those little arrows, these little areas that were under the north-south clamps. Meanwhile, let's get a nice simulator. Look at this. Which one? I like this one. Okay, so that's VisualMill. Visual CAD, VisualMill for SolidWorks, dealing with fixtures. It's better than what I thought it was when I realized you can clearance away from the fixture. If it didn't do that, it's almost useless. So that was operator error. Not bad, right? And it's a new in 2020, so maybe there'll be rest stuff. And it does facing, which the other companies didn't have any kind of facing avoid clamps. It was only pockets that would avoid clamps. So, catch you next time. Sportster Paul. Good luck with your CAM stuff. Bye now.